Hey, how are you feeling? Well, you clicked on this video, so most likely not so good. You're experiencing depression or anxiety, whether it's your first time and it's scaring you, or you've been in the same song and dance for years and are just trying to figure out how to put a stop to it. I'm here to lend you a helping hand to the best of my abilities. Now, I'm sure you've already spent hours scrolling through articles and videos on how to deal with your mental health and keep running into the exact same advice over and over again. And I'm sure by now you're just annoyed and tired of hearing the same 5 things over and over. So let me switch it up for you and give you some different advice because trust me, I've been exactly where you are right now. But before we start, I need to clarify one extremely important thing. And if you can understand this, you will find a way out. What I'm about to tell you is going to take years of continuous hard work. And at the end of the day, you have to understand that sometimes the pain we experience is so severe that no matter how much we work on getting rid of it, a bit of that pain will always linger, and we have to accept that. So if you're here thinking you can get rid of all this sorrow by the end of the week, stop and listen to this video and the advice I share extremely carefully. Depression and anxiety is not easy to get rid of. The faster you know that, the faster you can get to work in solving your mental issues. Got it? Alright, let's get this started. So let's get the obvious advice you've heard out of the way because yes, it is important. Get good sleep, get some exercise, get a good diet, and lessen your phone usage. These are all easier said than done, but common advice worth taking nonetheless. Now, let's get to my list. Number 1, make fun of your pain. I think the best way to start breaking down the power that pain has over you is to poke at it. Now, I'm not saying at grandpa's funeral to go up and practice your stand-up act, but, let's say that you spent months saving up for a car. You did it all on your own and it was some of the hardest work you've ever put yourself through to get it. Then, a month later, you get into a car crash and wreck it. Now, you don't have to start cracking jokes about it right then and there, but let's say a year from now, 5 months from now, why not poke fun at the event? You don't even need to make fun of the specific event itself, but things surrounding it. And trust me, there are certain things that are insanely dark and serious that can be hard to make fun of. And I'm not asking you to make fun of everything that's bad, but pick and choose to what makes you comfortable. A big thing I want you guys to take away from this whole video is to get rid of that chip on your shoulder. Let go of the pain. And by jesting at it a little, you're taking away some of the control it has over you. Another thing that's important with this topic is making sure you have boundaries with your loved ones on making sure they understand what they can or cannot mention around you so that you don't find yourself in a position where your feelings are hurt or you feel uncomfortable. Because when you start joking about these topics, they might want to do the same. You might not like that because they weren't the ones to experience the pain you've gone through. Number 2, clean your areas and keep up with your hygiene. Okay, this one you might have heard a lot, so I'm sorry if you have. But damn it, man, this shit is so important. A dirty room and body can add to your emotional state. Have you ever spent days or even weeks where your mental health declines and you're so drained that you just sit around and don't bother doing anything besides rotting in front of the TV or rotting in front of your phone? Then you wake up one day ready to make a bowl of cereal because making an egg, bacon, and avocado breakfast sandwich would be too much work to prepare and clean up. But when you go to your cupboard, you realize all your bowls and silverware have magically disappeared. Then you take one glance around and you see 5 separate piles of dishes all over the place. Or you realize that your shirt has stains of colors that have never even been discovered before because you haven't changed in 4 days. Or the best one, where you just take a glance of yourself in the mirror and see how baggy your eyes are. Or you realize that you haven't shaved for weeks and hair is now growing in places it probably shouldn't. My point is, cleaning your surrounding area and making sure you keep up with hygienics will elevate your mood drastically. I can't tell you how many times I've washed up or cleaned my room and had a ginormous burst of energy or enthusiasm. So go wash your stank ass, and while you're in the shower, go bring those dishes with you. You might as well learn a bit of multitasking too. Number 3, go outside. Once you finish cleaning your room and slapping on some deodorant, you should think about going outside for some fresh air. But I live in an ugly area. but I don't have a backyard. I live in an apartment. I live in the big city. The outdoors is stinky. Guys, shut the fuck up. Now, I'm not asking you to go full Alaskan bush people, but, you know, find a place where you feel safe and at peace. I know going outside is not an idea most of you probably like. Most people with depression and anxiety like to trap themselves indoors. What that eventually does is make you go stir crazy, or in other terms, gives you cabin fever. Being stuck in a room is simply not good. So go outside for about 30 minutes a day. Try to get some sunlight, some oxygen. Going outside can be free, so enjoy it. Some places you can be at are a backyard, a front yard, a patio, a sidewalk, a park, in a field, in the woods, anywhere. It can be anywhere. You get my point. For me, I have a small outdoor room and I sit in a chair when I don't necessarily want to leave the house. Another place I like to go is this small town square. There are a lot of free and cost-effective ways to be outside, so please take advantage of them. Any activity you were already going to do, ask yourself if you can take it outside. Even if you're just gonna go and rot on your phone, you might as well get some vitamin D while doing it. Number 4, find hobbies. Okay, this is one of the most important pieces of advice I could give you, and if you had to apply only one of these little lessons from this video, please try this one. I think hobbies are a gateway to learning about our hidden strengths, and most importantly, how to transfer all your negative energy into something in a healthy way. So sure, you can punch holes in a wall and pay hundreds of dollars in fixing all the things you break, or you can spend a few $100 buying a punching bag and learning how to box. There's a list of activities that can be way less expensive or even free, and those are my favorite ones. Things I do, like stated earlier, going outside. Whenever I can, I go hiking. I live near a decent amount of nice nature parks, so I try to take advantage of that. Writing/journaling is a great way of channeling your emotions and trying to help yourself with understanding them. But my favorite hobby by far is reading. I fucking love books and comics. I think reading is a great form of meditation. Now hear me out on this one. Meditation is about clearing your mind, and in a way you have to do that with reading. You have to fully extract yourself from the world you are currently in and throw yourself into the story you're reading. You have to be able to focus on the words and then picture every detail, and focusing on that shit is hard. So yeah, my big recommendation is reading. I know books are expensive when bought new. That's why I always buy used books, online through eBay, Better World Books, Thrift Books, and Abe Books. These are all great sites, and if you ever live near a half-price bookstore, you should really take advantage of that. Their clearance section has books as low as $1. And I've picked up so many incredible and popular books in the clearance section for no more than $3. But other great hobbies can be drawing, painting, model kit building, getting into some kind of sport, knitting, cooking, origami. I suck at origami. But yeah, seriously, look into something that interests you and do some research so you can do it in the most cost-effective way possible. Number 5, it's okay to be in pain. You know how exhausting it is to spend the majority of your day pretending like you're happy, when all you want to do is curl up in your bed and cry. It's honestly some of the hardest shit people like us have to go through. And I understand that everyone has had to do that at least once in your life. You walk into McDonald's and ask the person taking your order, "How are you?" They respond back with, "Great, how are you?" You smile and say, "I'm fine, thank you," when in reality you both probably hate your life. We all lie. It's customary bullshit. And let me tell you, there have been some days when I'm working some shitty, worthless job and some person walks up to me and asks that oh so familiar,
"Hi, how are you?"
and I just want to look them in the eyes and say,
Shit, I thought about killing myself while making breakfast this morning. Anyways, what would you like to order today? We got a sale on fermented hot dogs.
But the thing with people that suffer severe mental issues is we are always playing a character. We're goddamn thespians. We go out there like we're Meryl Streep and we try to get our Oscars. Because we know we have to have the appearance of a normal person, or, you know, we get treated differently. And in the process of trying to act quote-unquote normal, we believe that pretending like everything's okay makes our problems go away, when in reality that actually makes it worse. So obviously you can't be telling the sweet little old lady you're helping at work that you want to kill yourself. It's all about knowing when to turn off the act. You have to address your pain. You can't pretend that you're not hurting. You shouldn't pretend to be someone else either. You should learn how to become an improved version of yourself. Number 6, ignore others. A lot of our depression and anxiety comes from being misunderstood. That's why we pretend to be other people. It's out of fear that we will be rejected by everyone if they know who we really are. And sometimes we find ourselves in arguments with people trying so desperately to have them understand us. And it almost always ends with us looking like the bad guy, or someone who is dumb, or just this crazy, emotionally unstable person. We always have the short stick when it comes to trying to defend ourselves. So stop trying to have everyone understand. I've literally had people tell me I'm a loser who does nothing when I'm working multiple jobs at a time, saving up money, trying to move out on my own, and build my career all at once. And I sit there and I don't argue. I let people think what they want to think about me. You know why? Because they've already made up their mind on who you are as a person 30 seconds before you even open your mouth. You can't change their mind, so don't waste your energy fighting people trying to get them to understand you. If they've made their choice to not want to understand, they never will. The only people you should give that type of energy to are the people that do want to understand. Number 7, acceptance. There's 2 types of acceptance I want to cover. Number 1, acceptance that you are in fact in pain. And number 2, acceptance that you don't have to be a victim. I've been in both of these camps, and it sucks. When it comes to the first type of acceptance, I think it's extremely important to admit that you're hurting. It's the first step in finding a solution to your issues and beginning your healing process. I'm in pain. I'm hurting. It's that simple. Now, acceptance 2. You need to get out of your victim mindset. Just because you are a victim doesn't mean you have to stay one. One of my favorite books of all time is The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, which you've probably already heard about while doing your little self-help journey. It's a great book, and you should pick it up. You can find some good used copies online for around $12, and trust me, if you really give the book the time and attention it deserves, you'll find yourself rereading it at least a few times. But anyways, my favorite chapter in the book is You Are Always Choosing. And this segment of the book is talking about how you didn't ask for these problems, but the fact is, they are yours to deal with now. It's not fair, and you have every fucking right to be mad about it. But it doesn't change the fact that you have to solve it. The victim mindset is a negative feedback loop in your head where you don't have the self-confidence to do things because I'm stupid. I'm worthless. Everyone believes I'm a loser, that I'm nothing. They're right. I just won't try anymore. This horrible thing would have happened to me if I didn't deserve it. These types of comments that keep playing in your head are forms of negative feedback loops that create a victim mindset. And I'm telling you that you can break out of it. It's not easy, and it's going to take years. But if you actually try and use these steps throughout this video, you can start getting rid of it. When these thoughts come back, it's important to ask yourself why you're even thinking these things. You have to trace an origin, because these ideas are given to us by people. A lot of these thoughts don't just pop up in our head, and the ones that cause these thoughts are going to be the first ones to criticize you for how you are. So that's a good place to start when it comes to finding where these ideas about yourself stem from. Once you figure out the origin, you have to try to separate what the world thinks about you and who you truly are. Even if you believe these things, if you try to explore who you are without this pain, you will eventually know the truth about yourself. The truth the rest of these arrogant fuckers don't see. Number 8. Assess yourself. Why are you in pain? When you begin to feel your anxiety, depression, sadness, etc. build up, you quickly need to assess yourself and acknowledge that you're starting to feel bad. When these declines in our mental health occur, you need to start making notes on, number 1, what the triggers tend to be. Number 2, what signs appear when you know something is about to happen. For me, I know my triggers are being overwhelmed by people, having too many responsibilities within my day, a really unexpected horrible event, failing at something I was trying really hard at, loved ones starting arguments, things of that nature. And then my signs are feeling fatigued, having insomnia, either rapid gain or rapid loss in my appetite, suicidal thoughts, I get really bad chest pains, stomach aches, migraines, stress fevers, crying over literally anything, being extremely irritated, doom scrolling, and isolation. Let's use an example I had recently. I wasn't making much money at my work, and I've been trying to build up my channel because I want this to be a part of my career. And this channel isn't really making me a lot of money either. So I'm broke and have a shit ton of bills to pay. Stressor number 1. Trying to have 2 jobs is stressor number 2. I have friends, a girlfriend, and a grandfather who all need me and rely on me for support. Stressor number 3. By now, this is just daily life, right? We all go through these things, and that enough can set us over the edge. Trying to build a future and fighting the present at the same time. But I decided to play life on hard mode when I went into production on a short film I'm making, and I dragged everyone I love and care about into helping me with this thing, which made me feel self-conscious on the quality of my short film, making me have to ask myself if I'm being selfish by having everyone help me, and if this was worth their time, making a short film. Stressor number 4. The anxiety of being a burden to those I love. Stressor number 5. Now, I spent around $300 buying and renting equipment for this thing, and now I felt like I couldn't turn back, especially when I've had my loved ones stop everything they're doing to help me, even going as far as calling off of work to help me act as characters in my short film, which by then sent me into a negative feedback loop. Why are you doing this? You're selfish. This film is gonna be dog shit. You're a loser. Only 5 people are gonna watch your shitty videos. And then, to make matters worse, I'm getting to work and my tire pops. Great, now I have to buy another tire for $30, which, don't get me wrong, is cheap for a tire, but when you only have $200 in your bank account and need to pay your car insurance next week and still buy groceries, it's not fun. So I get that fixed and then keep churning along with my film, when I have to rush my dog to the vet because he has an injury and his leg might have to get amputated. The bill came out to $800. $800 I didn't have in my bank account, so my friend fronted the bill, which led to another spiral of the same type of negative feedback loop phrases I was already in. You fucking loser, if you didn't try to do YouTube in this short film, you'd probably be better off. There you go again, being selfish. Your friend is paying for this because you couldn't be normal and couldn't go into a normal career. Why does nothing ever go right for me? I should just kill myself. It's always like this, it just never fucking ends. Now, I still had to push through with my film because I had 2 weeks to film everything I needed before returning the rented equipment, and there was no room for error. So I had to continue on through. My dog made it out okay, thank God, and we wrapped up the 2 weeks of filming with the equipment. That was all within 3 weeks or so, and trust me, life hasn't gotten all that much better since then. But that led to another major depression. In fact, one of my worst depressions I've had, and I'm still dealing with it right now. So yes, was all of that fucking horrible? Yeah. I got stressed out so much, I got a stress fever that lasted 2 weeks. Now, how do you come out the other end? Well, to try not to feel that way to begin with, you have to stop and assess yourself. That was my fatal mistake. I didn't stop and listen to the signs. I just thought I was pulling up my big boy pants and racing to the finish line. When in reality, I was making my emotional situation worse. Now, obviously my tire, my dog, were unforeseeable things I couldn't control or see coming, but if I had dealt with my issues better instead of trying to ignore them so I can make it to the finish line, I would have been able to handle these 2 situations in a less emotional way. So what ended up happening to me was I had a horrible mental breakdown and trashed my room. And then a few days later, had the worst panic attack of my life. I then took a whole day off from work and YouTube and just assessed myself and asked why I was feeling this way. It's because I'm doing 2 jobs at once and still barely can pay my bills. I spend weeks making a YouTube video no one ends up watching, and it makes me feel sad. I'm dragging everyone into this short film I made, and I hope it comes out good so I don't make them feel like they wasted their time. My loved ones need me, and I feel like a disappointment because I can't be there for them the way I want to. Then comes the solution part. My loved ones love me unconditionally. They only want to see me succeed. That's why they help me so much. They believe in me, which means I'm not a disappointment to them. Sure, I'm doing 2 jobs, but at the end of the day, I love making YouTube videos. I love being able to express myself in a creative and healthy manner. Sure, not that many people watch my content, but if I keep putting as much love and care into everything I make, someday it will have to work out, and people will see that I've always cared about making the best stuff I could. So keep trying. It's important to assess yourself whether you see the storm coming or you're already standing in it. That's how you make it out to the other end. Once you finish assessing why you feel a certain way, you can move forward with figuring out a solution to your problems. Number 9, plan for the future. A big part in finding solutions to your problems lies in you planning a foreseeable future for yourself. Setting realistic goals can give your life purpose, and a lot of depression stems from feeling like you have no purpose. One of my favorite lines from any movie or show is this line from the M. Night Shyamalan film, Unbreakable.
You know what the scariest thing is? To not know your place in this world. To not know why you're here. It's just an awful feeling.
Finding our purpose is what we live for, essentially. It's the trajectory of your life, and when you don't have it, it can break you mentally. Now, I'm not here to necessarily help you find your purpose. That would be a whole other video for another day. But I think by planning things for your day, your week, month, or even year can help organize your life. And once you start seeing progress, you will begin to gain more self-confidence and therefore can continue forward with more accomplishments. By doing this, you are breaking the hold that our mental issues bind us to. We can start living without them, or at least with it in the back seat, where we can be the one driving. Every year I like to buy a poster board or 2 from the dollar store, and I just write all my goals on there and then pin it up someplace where I can visibly see it every day, so I can see my year's purpose. Another thing I do is I buy a calendar and I write out everything I have to do throughout the week to keep me focused. So give it a try, I think that'll help keep you motivated. Number 10, find people who want help. People like us become isolated. We have trust issues and we feel like the world will never understand us. But the truth is, there is a plethora of people out there that do understand and want to help. So go seek them. But one thing I have to stress is make sure these people you find community with want to get better. Unfortunately, there are some of us that want to say fuck the world and keep digging bigger holes for themselves, and they tend to make unhealthy decisions that will only make their mental state worse. It doesn't mean abandon these people, but don't try to follow their self-destructive behavior. And someday when you feel strong enough, maybe you can help them too. Another thing I want to mention is therapy. First off, you should not vilify it. I did for so long, and I regret doing that so much. I know you might be thinking stuff like, they're just gonna tell me what I already know. They can't help me. They're overpaid assholes. When it comes to my experiences with therapy, they have been great. These are people who are here to genuinely help because they themselves have gone through similar things and want to use their life experiences to help you heal. But there's the unfortunate thing. Therapy is a privilege. And that makes me sad. The only reason I can even go to therapy is because I live in a state that provides those type of mental health benefits. There's no way in hell I'd actually be able to pay for it. So my point is, if you have a job or live in a state where they can provide it for you, you would be insanely stupid not to take that opportunity that most would love to have. Which leads me right back to the main topic of this segment, which is knowing that you should not be forcing yourself to go through this struggle by yourself. Allow people to help and allow great opportunities to flourish. Number 11, your pain makes you strong. I know that thinking about all these horrific things that have happened were possibly a good thing is a hard pill to swallow. But the harder life hits us, the stronger we can be if we choose to get back up. You don't have to be a tragedy. You can be something more. Your pain, our shared pain, is a superpower if you allow it to be. It teaches us perseverance. It teaches us leadership. It teaches us wisdom. It teaches us empathy. It teaches us how to show kindness to those who are also in pain. It's a gift if you use it properly. You can be that helping hand in the darkness. You can be someone's hero, but you have to save yourself first. You can be the first one to break the cycle of misery and pain that you've seen in others. You can be the difference. I know you can, because our pain shapes us, but it doesn't have to define who we are. So, to the 5 of you watching, thank you. I hope I was able to give you a positive outlook that breaks that cycle. And in return, I hope you can break the cycle for someone else someday.